safer world is possible, and together we can and will make it happen. Thank you.
When you show up in community, you find that group that makes you feel like home, but oftentimes you also find yourself again.
From his new book, Woke is Dead, Piers Morgan says what he calls radical feminist types have tried to poison gentlemanly gestures like holding doors, carrying heavy bags, or paying for dinner. Piers says they're a well-mannered expression of a man's respect for a woman, and most women appreciate what he calls a big part of what real masculinity is.
I find comical is to flog his book that Piers Morgan is painting himself as some kind of chivalrous knight, some gentleman who, is very, very going through life so upset that he opens doors for women, does all these lovely things, and some horrible radical feminists are not appreciating it. Whereas this radical feminist would appreciate anyone opening a door, man, woman, whatever. I think good manners, as Colleen has said, are the fundamental thing that means we've got a civilised society. But what I find comical about Piers' book is that only a few weeks ago, Christine and I had the misfortune to share a dinner table with Piers Morgan. We were at a very posh dinner in the City of London, and Christine and I were sitting right next to Piers Morgan. And as the people were making very important speeches, who talked all the way through it? Piers Morgan, who demanded wine when no wine was being served because there was a lull in the service. Piers Morgan. And then when the wine came, wanted champagne. So actually, Piers Morgan, try having a few manners before you tell women about chivalry.
Welcome to Sussexful. I'm your host, Emma, and this channel stands proudly with Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, Prince Archie, and Princess Lilibet, a family that continues to embody love, dignity, and resilience, no matter how loud the negativity gets. Here at Sussexful, we celebrate truth, kindness, and strength, and we push back against the endless tide of hate and hypocrisy that the establishment and certain media voices keep trying to throw at the Sussexes. So before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this channel with others who believe in supporting Harry and Meghan, two people who walked away from an institution that tried to break them and instead built a life defined by purpose and compassion. Now, speaking of hypocrisy, the internet exploded this week when the Loose Women panel roasted Piers Morgan alive, and honestly, the audience couldn't stop cheering. The self-proclaimed chivalry king once again proved he has zero manners and even less credibility. Let's be real. I think Piers has a serious obsession with Meghan Markle. His fixation has gone beyond criticism. It's giving unhinged energy. One viewer hilariously summed it up. Piers Morgan is like a mosquito giving a TED Talk on personal space. You can't make this up. I haven't laughed so hard in ages. And that headline making waves? Piers gone mad. Couldn't be more accurate. Because let's tell the truth. Piers Morgan never met Queen Rachel Meghan Sussex. If he had, we'd have seen the selfies, the staged photos, the emails, and about 50 interviews by now. At the end of the day, while Piers and his friends in the media cling to bitterness and obsession, Harry and Meghan continue to rise, focusing on family, charity, and the causes that actually make the world better. So, let's lift them up with love and positivity, because the best response to hate is success, grace, and happiness. Hit that like, drop your thoughts in the comments, subscribe, and share this video to keep the Sussex spirit shining bright. This is Sussexful, where truth, class, and compassion always win. It's simply astounding that Piers Morgan continues to insist he has never met Meghan Markle, despite the complete lack of any photographic or email evidence to support this outlandish claim. The sheer absurdity of his statements is truly baffling. Does he really expect anyone to believe that he, a prominent media personality who has covered the royal family extensively, has somehow managed to avoid ever crossing paths with the Duchess of Sussex? The audience erupted in laughter and disbelief as the Loose Women panel skillfully dissected the glaring holes in Piers' narrative, leaving the so-called chivalry king with no choice but to sit and squirm, his constant need to insert himself into the Meghan Markle saga on full display for all to see. Piers' self-proclaimed chivalry king title. The irony of Piers Morgan's self-proclaimed status as the chivalry king is not lost on the public. The way he has relentlessly attacked and vilified Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, has been nothing short of hypocritical. His obsession with her and his lack of manners have become the subject of much amusement and derision. The audience on Loose Women couldn't help but roast Piers alive, as they highlighted the stark contrast between his supposed chivalry and his blatant disrespect towards Meghan. It's almost as if Piers has a mental disorder that drives his unhealthy fixation on the Duchess, making him a mosquito trying to give a TED Talk on personal space. The feud between Piers Morgan and Meghan Markle has been nothing short of a public spectacle. Piers' relentless attacks on the Duchess of Sussex have become the stuff of tabloid legend, with the former Good Morning Britain host unleashing a steady stream of scathing criticism that has only seemed to intensify over time. The public, in turn, has largely perceived Piers' obsession with Meghan as something bordering on the unhinged, a fixation that has left many scratching their heads and wondering just what exactly is driving this campaign of unrelenting vitriol. The audience erupted in gleeful laughter, just reveling in the sheer comedic spectacle unfolding before their eyes. Piers' erratic behavior and outrageous statements had the crowd in stitches, as they absolutely delighted in seeing the self-proclaimed chivalry king being hilariously roasted alive. It was honestly as if a mosquito had been given a TED Talk on personal space, with Piers' irrational fixation on Meghan Markle becoming the butt of the public's amusement. The general consensus seemed to be that Piers had well and truly lost the plot, providing a side-splitting display that left the audience in stitches, and, honestly, craving more of his delightfully unhinged performance. Speculation surrounding Piers Morgan's mental health has reached a fever pitch in recent weeks, as the outspoken media personality just continues to engage in a relentless tirade against Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. His obsessive fixation on the royal has left many folks questioning whether there are deeper underlying issues at play. The public has grown increasingly concerned over Piers' erratic behavior, which some argue could potentially jeopardize his long-standing career if left unchecked. From his unhinged rants on live television to his bizarre social media outbursts, Piers appears to have crossed a line, leaving many to wonder if professional help may be warranted. As the furor surrounding his crusade against Meghan shows no signs of abating, the true impact of Piers' questionable mental state remains to be seen. The public's fascination with the tumultuous relationship between Piers Morgan and Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, has reached a fever pitch. Audiences are deeply divided in their opinions, with some applauding Piers' outspoken criticism of the Duchess, while others have condemned his behavior as unhinged and obsessive. The broader implications of this ongoing feud extend far beyond the personal dynamic, touching on broader societal issues of media bias, privilege, and the treatment of public figures. As the battle of words between these two polarizing personalities rages on, it has become a spectacle that captivates and divides the public, raising questions about the nature of celebrity, privacy, and, honestly, the boundaries of acceptable discourse. Piers Morgan's recent outbursts and obsession with criticizing Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, have left many questioning the future of his chivalry king persona. The public, once captivated by his self-proclaimed defense of traditional British values, now sees a man whose manners and behavior appear increasingly unhinged. The consequences of his actions could be severe, as his reputation as a champion of gentlemanly conduct hangs in the balance. With each new headline-grabbing rant, Piers risks eroding the very image he has cultivated, potentially jeopardizing his career as the self-styled chivalry king. The world watches with bated breath, wondering if the man who once embodied a bygone era of civility can ever reclaim that lofty mantle.